the other day, Day was on. She's talking about her Hyrox she did. You're going to do another one with a female partner who's probably going to be like fairly comparable to you fitness wise, where like, just if we're being honest, maybe like more of like a fitness component comes into it for you. And you just want to like take things maybe a little bit more seriously was kind of my understanding of that. And the first one was just kind of like a fun opportunity to kind of experience it. Is that fair? I'm kind of putting words in your mouth.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. And it was a good way to kind of see like how everything runs and what it consists of.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I think
Get a
there's
feel for
no
the
like
blood.
bad scenario of you not putting a ton of pressure on yourself when you try something new.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So basically you we were talking and you're like, yeah, like you should design a week for me and that we could talk about it and see if it's like a good fit. And just kind of, it's always fun to have someone else think about how you could be doing your training. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, why don't you take us through like what were your kind of your goals? What's your timeline? What are your constraints that you have right now? That's like that basically you gave me to like build out the program.
Yeah, for sure. So the High Rocks will be end of May, early June. It's like back-to-back weekends. So you can choose whichever one. So I'll go to the one
At the
that's
same
like
location.
at the same
They're both
location.
like
Yeah.
New. Are they both New York City?
Yes. So
Oh,
I'm I
that's
think
cool.
I don't know if it's the same place in New York City
Mm,
or whatever, but I'm assuming big city, so they're gonna make the most out of that opportunity. So
yeah,
whichever one I end up being able to get tickets for is the one I'll go to.
yeah.
I'm not picky between one or the other. Um, so that gives us a bit of time, which is nice. And
Yeah, so
then
it's February right now.
yeah, right. And so ideally, I would like to start not this week, but the following week. So um, that'll that'll be a good timeline there. Um, but right now, like what training looks like, it's pretty much I'm doing like minimum effective dose. Just considering that time is my biggest constraint right now, just with like school and work and all stuff. So um, like the semester is a pretty rough one for me because like the class I'm taking has like your grade is based solely on exams, and there's 6 exams
No
and
man.
it's an everyday class for like 2 hours. So I'm just like trying to just absorb as much information and all that. And I'm just a slow learner, so I just end up spending a lot of time studying.
I'm gonna call
Um,
bullshit on that.
oh no, I'm telling you, like if you were to see my notebooks, like I'm rewriting the same thing over and over and over again, re-listening to lectures, but
What class is
because of
this?
that, systems physiology. So learning about every system right now. We're in the neurophysiology block, so it's kind
Oh
of
man.
entertaining.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel
Once we
like
get to like,
my guess would be like 10% of that would be like incredibly interesting. And then
yeah,
like 90% of it would be like, I'm probably gonna forget this tomorrow.
yes, that's exactly how it is. Like we are talking the other day about like why like the effects of cocaine and how it happens. Like why if you take cocaine, you get like all these, side effects, and it's just like, oh, that's like it's interesting. I don't
Yeah.
remember the rest of the lecture though. I just remember that cocaine part.
So how many ghosts equals cocaine?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So if
And
I
I'm
have
like, oh,
four
that's
ghosts,
interesting. I am essentially the equivalent of a
yeah.
gas station crackhead. Um, so,
That makes such a good soundbite. I have to use that somewhere.
but so right now that's taking up a lot of my time. So my training, I'm trying to keep at least 4 strength per day, per week. So I'm doing like 2 upper, 2 lower. They're very quick workouts too. They're like
Yeah, I
30 to
saw that.
45
You were
minutes.
telling me like 45-minute stops. I was like, man,
Yeah. Yeah. 45 minutes
that is
tops.
quick.
Yes.
That's
So
like
I'm
your
like
first
in and out.
exercise is your warm up when you're doing that.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not really doing warm-ups or anything. So that's the tough part. And then running usually 25, 30 miles per week right now. So that's taking up most of my time.
Yeah.
Um, and I usually do that early in the morning, like before getting to campus or after, but I prefer not to do it after just because I'm just exhausted by the end of the day. So those are like my big limitations right now, and it's going to be that way until May. So it's just very limited in terms of like what I'm used to doing and what like, what it was before with like CrossFit where it was like two a days, multiple hours, all that stuff. So that's the biggest thing. Um, the thing that I want to work on the most, just based on, you know, knowing what the stations are and going through the first competition, is just being able to sustain like a faster pace on the 1K stations. So I'm not worried
1K
about,
runs.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So the 1K runs. So I'm not really worried about any of the stations per se. They seem pretty good. It's just managing the fatigue from the run to the stations. But if
Yeah.
I can hold a good pace on the stations, then I think that'll be the biggest bang for my buck.
Yeah. You were saying like female is going to be much more manageable station wise because of the loading
Yeah.
versus male because you're stuck using the male loads essentially
Right.
for the mixed doubles. So yeah, makes sense.
Right. Right. So like if there's anything I think that'll be tough on not including the runs, but the stations, it's going to be burpee broad jumps for me. I don't really like them. I could do them, but I don't really like them. They do gas me out pretty quick. So if I am going like pretty hard efforts on the run, I can imagine that that burpee broad jump station is going to like wipe me out. And
Yeah.
I haven't tried the sled weights for the females with the female weights yet. So that'll be a surprise. I kind of have to get my hands on that soon just to get a feel and
Yeah.
see if that'll be challenging or if it's going to be significantly easier than the male weights.
Cool. I think that's pretty much
Yeah.
what you gave me.
Yeah.
Um, I would prefer you interrupt me a lot more when I go through this one. Um,
Okay.
because obviously like you know all the ins and outs and you know that there's always things that like I obviously know you a lot better than I know a lot of if we have like a client of yours that I'm
Hmm.
making a design for, like I don't know the person at all really. It's just like the basic information you give me where obviously I know your life constraints and just you as a person a lot more. So I'll be curious to like have you interrupt me and see like, well, this wouldn't work practically because of this or that or like that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. I'm kind of curious. So let me share this. Dive in. I mean, this is stuff I again, if you were actually like hiring me to do this, I would take a little bit more time to ask you
Yeah.
questions. Like,
Yeah.
do you like doing your long run on Saturday and your like rest day on Sunday, or like what do you normally do over the weekend?
Weekends are the days I try to train the most just because
Yeah,
I don't
like
have to
no
physically
rest
be
day
anywhere.
on Sunday. I want to train while I have some time.
Yeah, exactly. And so I normally take a rest day somewhere in the week. It usually ends up falling on Tuesday or Thursday because those are my longer days.
Yeah,
Um, so one of those days is usually my rest day. But it moves around. Like actually yesterday was my rest day, even though it was Sunday. Just because life got crazy this weekend. So,
yeah,
um, but normally it's during the weekday.
yeah. Which thinking about that, I'd probably have you do like maybe I'd have you just do like a lift or something on Saturday and then like
Mm,
do it whenever probably I put your long run in, I'd probably just have you do like an upper lift the next day because you're probably gonna have the most time to do like a long piece on the weekend anyway and like
yeah,
be compliant with it. And then you're still gonna have time the next day, but you probably like, you're gonna be tired. So it's like just do something upper body on that day.
yeah,
So
yeah.
there's already things about this that I'd switch around, but um yeah, let's just kind of run through like my idea of how I outlined it, and then obviously like based on what your schedule actually is, you'd end up flipping things around. But
Cool.
this happens quite a bit with athletes. Like you'll start with like what you think an ideal flow would be, and then it's like as schedule of their life just gets switched around, then you have to like jostle things around to like make it make sense
Yeah,
again.
yeah. I do
Happens
that a
quite a
lot.
bit.
Yeah, especially I know with like the teams I work with because it's like I come up with like a semester plan and I'll have all their weeks planned out and it's like, oh, but this person's traveling for like this random race on this day. Oh, this person has an exam and all that on this day. So they want to take the day before as rest so they can study, blah, blah, blah. So it's never I've yet to have
Yeah.
a very consistent semester with any of my teams.
Yeah. Especially people who are competing in more traditional sports or like for example, W is competing in wrestling right now. So it's just
Hmm.
like every single week, he's probably usually has at least a dual meet and a tournament.
Yeah,
At least one or the other, often both. So it's like we're lucky to get 3 sessions in throughout the week because and
yeah,
then they're always like variable. So I'm just kind of sliding them around. Um,
yeah,
so I've tried to keep his progression in that sense like as simple as possible, like knowing that like there's gonna be times where it's just less than ideal. It's the same thing with like team sports. If you're working with a full team, like you got to keep things simple because it's already going to be so variable.
yeah, for sure. Even if you have like their like game or meet schedule, like things just move around so much. And
Yeah.
college sports,
People
there's a
get
lot of like,
sick, people get little
yeah,
naggy injuries. It's like you also don't want to work too far ahead. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So, or in the case of like, in the college side where like things are a lot about money now, where it's like, oh, there's like a big donor lunch that they have to go to,
Mm.
so they have to miss strength. So it's like, where are we gonna fit? That's like the first thing to go. So it's like, where are we gonna fit it in the week, or do we just
Strength session
cancel it?
doesn't matter. We
Yeah,
gotta please the people.
yeah, exactly.
Ugh. All right, let's walk through here. So, coming off your rest day, kind of interesting that I put an easy run first, but with it being, I think the only possibly the wait, did I have another double day? Maybe that was the only time I made a double day. Um, I thought I wanted another one. Maybe I just didn't think about it. Um, anyway, so this is double day. So just like obviously you don't want to work on the same thing twice. And for people who aren't like young, super adaptable athletes, I think having one of those be easy just kind of makes sense. So
Hmm.
yeah, this is something where you could flip those 2 sessions around. Like the order doesn't necessarily matter, but having an easy run that's obviously going to be lower body based, and then an upper lift as the other one. So let me walk through here. The easy run, um, 45 to 60 minutes at zone 2. And one of the reasons why it's that is like one, I think that's probably a good volume to get started with in terms of like duration.
Hmm.
But then two, it's like that's practically what's gonna fit into your week, hopefully. And
Yeah.
having that range, it's like it, I'd love it to be 60, but if you get 45, I don't want you to feel like you failed,
Hmm.
which is like for most people, like that's how they are. They're like, well, I could only get 40 minutes in, so I didn't hit the prescription. So it was like all waste. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, like, let's just try to like make sure you're getting in some easy running.
Yeah. I
So,
feel like I would be like that. I'd be like, well, I technically didn't do those sessions since I only did 45 minutes.
yep.
Call it there. But yeah. And I do I know you mentioned like putting in an easy day right after the weekend, but I do like that. And that's kind of what I do right now. Like today I usually do Stairmaster easy. And that's
I
like
got
my
some
easy session.
Stairmaster in here for you. Don't worry. It's not today, but
I saw it on there. I was very excited. But yeah, yeah, I think that's great.
and then at the halfway point of that, 45 to 60 minutes, throw in some acceleration, soles or strides. Keep fatigue low by walking between. After you perform several reps, return to your zone 2 run. So that's just like your neuromuscular speed based work. That is like, oftentimes people like doing that at the beginning of runs, which is great because you're not tired yet. But again, if you're low on time, I think it just makes more sense to use the zone run as a warm up and then just put it in the middle, and you're still
Mhm.
going to get quality work afterwards. And then the evening lift, upper. So yeah, basically like a lot of pushing and pulling work here. 3 rounds, 10 dumbbell pullovers, 6 to 8 kettlebell windmills a side, 6 to 8 bottoms up kettlebell strict press per side. Again, just kind of warming up stability and priming range of motion a bit. And then a superset of parallel dips and
Hey,
weighted strict pull-ups,
awesome.
starting with body weight, which is something that you're not going to need any additional warm-up to start there, and then just ending tough. Again, trying to keep it relatively efficient. Next, a 3-point dumbbell row, only 2 sets of that. Next, dumbbell bench press. This is actually a format that I kind of personally like. I don't know if you've ever done something like this before, where it's like you use the same weight the whole time, so you're not having to switch out a bunch, and you start with like a low rep count, and you just build to like one really tough set. So in this case,
Mm.
I'm guessing based on your abilities that 50s are like, you couldn't rep them all day long, but it's something that you could probably do after you've done some challenging dips without having to do additional warm up.
Yeah.
And then I kind of guess on like what would be like doable jumps. So like a set of 4, a set of 7. And then the final set is where you take up 1 from failure. So AMRAP -1.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that. Normally I'm someone for myself, like just for ease, I just do like straight sets where it's like 8, 8, 8, 7, 7, 7, 6, 6, 6, or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so nice little variety. I think it's always fun.
Yeah. And it's also like if you're doing like those super high fatiguing sets, if you want to repeat it, you have to rest forever.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
you're
that's
gonna have
true.
to rest like minimum probably 2.5 minutes if you want to get another set that's similar to that.
Yeah.
It's just like you don't really have that time,
Yeah.
and like you can still get like a pretty good, like I know it's only one really tough set of bench, but you also did dips, so it's like the
Yeah.
combination of the two, you're getting 7 sets of work, which is pretty good actually.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then finally a dumbbell external rotation off the knee, which is again just a lot of pressing and pulling. You're biasing internal rotation, so it's just making sure shoulders are staying happy. So then the next day is just a lower lift, hip flow sequence, dual kettlebell front squat, 3 sets, 5 to 7 reps, building each set, ending tough, and then keeping that dual kettlebell front rack with now Bulgarian split squat. Again, only 2 sets, 8 to
Okay.
10 per side. So again, a lot of people get sore from Bulgarians. I know you do a lot of like split squat type variation stuff. So
Hmm.
I'm sure you're used to it, but still, I think if you're trying to keep your run quality as high as you can, just keep the volume low.
Yeah.
So that was the idea there. And then barbell RDLs, 4 sets of 8, RPE 7 to 8, just so like working sets. Single leg Sorsen, and then a banded hip airplane. So
It's funny because this lower body lift looks very similar to what I'm doing right now. I
yeah,
would
I mean, I
say,
see some of what you do, so I have an idea of like
yeah,
the type of exercise selection that you tend to like.
yeah,
And I think we're kind of similar in what we like.
yeah,
Um, yeah.
sweet.
Okay, so this Wednesday is like this is like a longer day. I would say this is like more like a 75 to 90 minute session potentially.
Yeah.
So this is something that like, you could slide it around. But like again, when you do a Hyrox, you're gonna be, I don't know how long, probably like 75 minutes maybe for doubles.
Hmm.
I don't know, somewhere in that range maybe. So it's like I'd love for you to get close to that working time, even if it's not like consistent working at that high work rate.
Yeah. Yeah. And this one is, I think would be really good for me just because I like don't normally, as of recently, not normally training with like a lot of ski erg sleds, all that stuff. The only issue is um location of
Yeah.
like finding those things because it's not like at the convenience of my home gym.
Right.
So probably I would slide that one to like Friday and do it in the evening or Saturday. Um,
When you get to like a gym that has it,
yeah,
or you
yeah.
like you have to like drop in to get to one, or do you have an access to a
No,
gym that
I could
has a ski
use,
in a row?
yeah, I have access to a gym. It's just getting there
Yeah.
during the week. Yeah,
So I'm
that's always the tough
already
part.
thinking about that. I think if this was Friday night, then it would be like Saturday would just be like maybe an upper lift, and then
Mm,
Sunday could be your long run, And that way you have like 48 hours between those two sessions.
Yeah.
We're close to it. And then just
Yeah.
like either Monday is like a full body lift that's like not super heavy, or it's like Monday is like a rest day.
Yeah. And that could fit well too, just because on Mondays, sometimes I have my long experiment days where I'm in the lab for quite a bit
Yeah.
of time. So that would probably end up being a little better for me.
Yeah. I think for a lot of people who have like busy weekdays, I think, a Monday rest day actually makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah,
I've
for sure.
I've done that with Sam Hagen for years now.
Yeah.
His easy day is always Monday. He typically does an active recovery session on that day still, but it's like chill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So this session's again stations and mixed aerobic. Uh, at the beginning and end of this session is 5 to 10 minutes on the stair stepper at an easy pace. And again, like that's probably your one time throughout the session where you can determine how long it's going to take. Obviously, you can speed up the rest times a bit, transition times, but um, that you could cut out 10 minutes there and save yourself a bit of time if needed.
Hmm.
So basically 3 sets, rest 1 minute between. Again, knowing that 1 minute is going to feel short, almost like not why is it there, but like you're not going to fully recover by any means in that amount of
Yeah.
time. But that's sort of the idea, because like obviously like in doubles you do get some rest, but it's not like a full rest.
Hmm.
And I would prefer, even in this case, like I'm sure at no point you probably rest a full minute in doubles. But again, with training, I think it's totally fine to like do things at like a lower fatigue point, at least in certain points in your week.
Hmm.
And maybe like down the road, I like, this is one thing that it's not like I'm actually writing this. So this is just kind of like they're like standalone sessions, and the fact that it's like not part of a progression, but like likely this is something that as you closer to the race, this probably just is more of like a rehearsal, like actual run through, uh, where it is like more continuous work versus like having like more. Yeah, we're like with that amount of rest, you should be able to go at a fairly good clip.
Yeah.
Anyway, 3 sets, rest 1 minute between, 300-meter ski erg, 30-meter sled pull at comp weight, 300-meter run at Hyrox pace. So, uh, obviously, like ski erg is specific, but then you're also just kind of creating some general fatigue for the sled pull. And then the
Hmm.
idea being that like you're running in like a very contextualized, like metabolic environment where you're going to feel internally the way you feel when you're actually doing a Hyrox, hopefully by the time you get to that run. Um, and you have some fatigue when you're doing the station work, but it's not like so much where it's going to impact your ability to like learn how to do the skills of it well and to get like really high quality practice. Cause like that's more of a concern than like really training the qualities almost, if that makes sense.
Hmm. No, I totally agree.
And
And I
for
think
each,
that,
go ahead.
oh, sorry. I think that'll be good for me too, just because like if I were to start with the running first before like the skier or the sled pull, because I know at the end of each stations, it's like what I forgot what they call it, but it's like that length of distance before you like start the 1K again. It's like a lot of people tend to walk it and they'll like go to the water station or whatever. And I
Rock,
remember going,
isn't it like Rock
is
Zone?
that yeah, the rock zone, that's what it is. And what an man, that the naming conventions of that. But anyways, um I know it's gonna be tempting to want to walk it. So I want to be able to like finish the station and jog before the 1K and not walk it. And I
Yeah.
think this is a good way of doing it, just kind of like you're doing station work, like the skier, sled pull, run. It's like, how does it feel like to go right into like a run?
Yeah. And you're teaching yourself that you can do it here in like a little bit lower
Hmm.
fatigued environment, so that when you are tired in the race, you can still convince yourself to start running before you feel like you're ready. And then like, I don't want to say recover on the run, but start to feel better as you get into the run.
Right.
So 3 sets of that. For each of those, I was like, for the sled pull, the sled push, that's next, and the burpee broad jump, I was trying to get you just over like total station volume. So you're like over 100%.
Okay.
And that way it's just like you're just accumulating enough work because you're not doing it all at once, which obviously a station you're doing all the work at once. I
Right.
know it's split with a partner in doubles, but still, I think that with you coming back and doing multiple sets of work, I think it makes more sense to get past the volume of what you're gonna be expected to do.
Mm-hmm.
So transition time is needed, then 3 sets, rest one between. So three is the exact same format, 300-meter row this time, 30-meter sled push at comp weight, 300-meter run again at Hyrox pace. And then the
Sweet.
final 4 sets, rest one between, 300-meter erg, alternate ski and row, 30-meter burpee broad jump, and then again 300-meter run Hyrox pace. So a little bit of extra burpee broad jump volume, just
Mm-hmm.
because you said that was going to be a challenge. And then also it's kind of nice because then ski and row volume is the same.
Yeah. And so, question for you, because I'm curious how you would approach it. If you were to write this like from week to week, like the progression for it, what would be your, how would you, well, like, what's your method behind like progressing it? Would you mess with the total volume, total time of work, work to rest ratios?
Hmm. Likely I would probably both.
Mm,
I think initially it might be like maybe I would cut down the Stairmaster time and make those first two also 4.
okay.
So like adding volume
Yeah.
initially. And then likely I would start to trim it back down and either reduce the rest time or up the erg run volume. So
Okay.
maybe you only get 2 sets, but then it's a 500-meter ski, same
Yeah.
sled pull, and a little bit longer of a run, like a half K.
Yeah.
Um, Again, because you're going to be asked to obviously run 1K at a time. So it's like
Right.
what I probably wouldn't do is I wouldn't just keep progressing volume up, maybe slightly up, but again,
Hmm.
the session's going to get too long for you to be compliant with it. So I would probably say that it would be like maybe slight increases of volume, and then as I start to pull it back down, I'd probably reduce the set number and keep the actual volume per set higher and slowly bump that up.
Yeah.
So you're doing
Okay.
like longer bouts of continuous work versus just more sets.
Yep. Okay.
And I guess that's like a way of like maybe progressing the specificity
Yeah.
because obviously like the actual event you're working relatively continuously since it's doubles for
Hmm.
75 minutes. So it's like you want to be prepared to do that. So I think starting here and then slowly progressing it out where it becomes more and more challenging to get up to your run pace and then hold it for a longer duration, I guess.
Yep. Okay.
Do you normally program on 2 monitors today?
I do. Yeah. It's so nice.
Yeah. I feel so handicapped when I only have one.
I know. I hate doing it when I just have my laptop because everything's just so small on the screen and I need like both screens and I want like the because I have like a wide screen too.
Yeah.
So just like it spaces everything out.
Yeah. So people probably know we're sponsored by Coach RX, but like that honestly, like when I used Google Sheets, like that was I refused to program anywhere other than at my desk because I hated not having like 2 big
Yeah.
monitors because I'd put athlete feedback up on one and then like the back on the other one, and I would just like look back and forth, which I'll still do with Coach RX now, but it does make it way easier that if I'm just like when I get up in the morning now, it's like I usually have a work bout of me just sitting on the couch and having the laptop on my lap and just writing programs, which is still like fairly doable now because now I just like I work in month mode and I just scroll up and down all the time. So I'm
Yeah.
just like I scroll up really quickly, look at the athlete feedback, scroll down, and then like build out their next session. I just kind of like move through the week going up and down like that, look at their feedback, build out that session.
Yeah.
So it works out.
It's definitely a lot easier to use, and I've used it on the laptop. I prefer the widescreen, obviously. That's the nice luxury, but
Yeah.
I agree. Like the Google Sheets on the small screen it would give me
It was like
migraines.
torture. Yes.
Yeah.
And it like the
Yeah.
cells get so small.
Yeah.
So it was brutal. So yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that I appreciate most about it is like when I can really like very easily scroll up, see the athlete feedback,
Mhm.
and then also like all the videos are linked to it, and it's linked to the individual training pieces so that I can see like the results for each individual thing. It makes it way easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it has definitely simplified my workflow in that way. So if people want to get a free
Yeah.
trial, I'll link to it below. They can check it out. Yeah, if you're a coach and haven't checked it out, definitely would recommend. All right, so last day was stations and mixed aerobic work. This one is a short threshold run and wall ball volume. So there wasn't actually that much of running volume in this Wednesday. And with
Hmm.
you being at like you, what you say, like 20 to 30 miles per week,
Hmm.
like probably wasn't going to get you there unless we run back to back at some point. So yeah, another run day here. With it being again, the volume isn't going to get out of control and it's not that high intensity of running.
Hmm.
It's I would say pretty like, moderate to moderately tough work. And then it also just kind of being obviously more focused on like stations again. So
Hmm.
quick run warm up. And then the actual like main piece is every 8 minutes for 4 sets, a 6 minute run at zone 3 to zone 4, progressing. And then you're just walking your rest time. So basically it's 6 minutes of running at a ramping pace up to zone 4, walking 2 minutes between. And then immediately following your fourth run, so you don't get that 2 minutes of rest, you go directly into 20 seconds of wall balls, or 20 seconds max wall balls, let's call it, and 20 seconds of rest. You're going to continue in that format until you accumulate 70 reps.
Okay.
So again, thinking about total volume,
Hmm.
you'd be doing 50 reps when you're actually there, splitting the 100 rep, well, assuming you split them evenly.
Hmm.
But again, I'd like to see you get over that because you're not actually doing the full volume of all the work up to that point. So likelihood of, uh, you know, like I'd like to see you feel a little bit more like you're actually going to feel when you're doing that the last 20 reps of your actual wall balls, which
Yeah.
I still don't even think you'll probably feel as bad doing 70 reps here versus 70 reps in the actual event. So it's like,
Hmm.
I'd like to see you get a little bit closer to like how you're actually going to feel when you're doing it.
For sure.
So again, I don't know how long people typically go before they swap out. I think 20 seconds is probably about right for like work rest. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
I would say 20 seconds is probably a good guess
because
for that.
you could get like maybe 10 or 11 reps if you're doing that
Yeah.
unbroken. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't see a need to do more than like 15 per time. I mean, you know, you guys aren't going for an elite time. You're just trying to do the best
Right.
you can. So it's like I think that makes sense. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, say you get 10 in each of them, you're doing 7 of those intervals. So, and worst case scenario is like it starts to break down, you're having to drop the ball in the middle or something, and it's just like you don't get as many and you still get your rest time,
Yep.
which is
Very
an
true.
easier way to do it than saying like you have to go every 40 seconds and do 11, because at a
Hmm.
certain point you might just be almost doing like continuous work because you're dropping and picking it back up if you start to like fall apart. And then finally immediately into after that, the 5 minute easy run, 5 minute walk, and then some foam rolling.
Cool.
How do you think you'd handle that back to back sessions?
I think it'll be good. Yeah. Because like right now there are some days where I just kind of have to cram stuff in. So sometimes I have to do like back-to-back sessions just because like that's all where it fits.
Yeah.
So I've been like exposed to it quite a bit. So I should be pretty okay with that. Um, and then I see that there's like a full body lift the next day, so that would actually be perfect.
Yeah. Next day, full body lift. 5 minutes ground-based movement flow, joint prep. Question for you. Do
Hmm.
you, if you were going to do that, do you need more instruction than that, or do you know what I mean by that?
I know what you mean by that.
Yeah.
So
I've been
usually
writing
if
that
you
for
just do like,
athletes, and sometimes I think sometimes people know exactly what I mean. And I think other times
yeah,
people are like kind of clueless.
yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah.
it depends if someone really needs like step-by-step instructions where other people are a little bit more in tune, or if they've been working with you for a while, they generally know like, hey, this is how Ben would probably like ask me to warm up, and this is what works for me. I'm gonna approach it this way, where some people just like the a little bit more hand holding.
Yeah. Like if I was going to receive a program, unless like somebody has like a specific program they want me to do, like a specific like warm up protocol, I'd much prefer to be open ended like this. Just
Same.
because I don't want to have to like follow along a video or something that is like gets me to through a warm up series that's like 80% as good if I would have just done it self directed.
Yeah. And I
So
think with
it's like
me
more
too,
annoying and more like not, it's like potentially less effective and definitely more cumbersome
yeah. Yeah.
for people like me and you and like other experienced athletes. Like you said, I think there are other people that if you they just don't know what that is or even like what they could do. So then it's like they
Hmm.
just need a little bit more guidance.
Yeah. And I've done things in between too, where it's like, hey, spend 5 minutes, do a hip, ankle, knee, and low back mobility or warm up movement. So they at least target the areas that I want them to target, but leaves it a
Mm,
little bit open ended so that they can do things that maybe they prefer versus like me telling them like, hey, you have to do this like quad stretch, you have to do this ankle mobility exercise
yeah.
versus this one. So.
Yeah, because there's like certain exercises that like I abs like in particularly like stretches.
Mhm.
There's like particular stretches or maybe even like warm up drills that like I find incredibly valuable that I've given to
Mhm.
people and they're like, I don't understand the point of this.
Yeah. I always feel that way with like banded distraction work. People are always like, okay, what's the point of the band? And they like,
See,
I could just do it
I'm not a
without it.
huge fan of distraction work.
Really?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So it's like that's like a great example of like I'm like I could just hit the stretch and I'll still get a great stretch and I don't need to get
Yeah.
the band out.
Yeah. Where I'm like, I like the band. And I know a lot of my athletes are like, we can do this stretch without it. So I'm like, all right.
Yes. It's funny because you and Chris use that a lot in your warm-ups and I almost never use it
Yeah.
in warm-ups. Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
like
that's
if
funny.
athletes see that stuff, it's like, well, they wrote that warm-up.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's jump in here. So
Yeah.
movement flow, joint prep. A, 3 rounds, high quality, low fatigue. 4 per side of a rotational med ball slam, 3 box jumps to a 24-inch box, landing high, 3 to 5 slam balls, light load at max effort. So obviously that's like plyometric, neuromuscular warm up type work there. And just some of that like higher velocity stuff's probably just good for you to just like maintain athletic qualities as well.
Yeah.
B, deficit trap bar deadlift, 4 sets of 4, RPE 6, 7, 8, 8.5 by set. And then superset of a safety squat bar, good morning, 6 to 8 reps, 4 sets, RPE 6 to 7. So, like, definitely moderate across there. Superset with an L sit hold, 4 sets, highest repeatable duration. Next superset, bench press and dumbbell prone row. The bench press is descending reps, increasing load, 9, 7, 5, 3 by set. Build a tough triple at the end. Dumbbell prone row is straight sets. So you're looking for 6 to 9 reps at a moderately tough weight across. And then finally, dumbbell lateral raises accumulating 40 reps in as few sets as possible with 10 to 12 pounds per hand.
Sweet. That one looks like a fun one.
Yeah.
Have I haven't done an L sit hold
I
in
was
a while.
that was like the one thing that I'm like, I think this would be good for her, but I don't think she does it.
Yeah, I haven't done it in forever. And now I want to do it. I'll do one today. I'll see how I do.
Do you do box jumps much?
No, I haven't box jumped in, I want to say like over a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. That'd probably be good for you too.
Yeah, that'll be good for me. I was thinking about that.
Box jumps are such a good plyo. Like
They are.
doing them in like the way that like most people in strength and conditioning will apply them versus like CrossFit where you do like 100 in a Metcon.
Yeah.
Like using it as an actual plyo is so good because like
Yeah.
you get all of the explosive benefits and like the hip extension and all of that, but you don't get like all of like the crazy catch forces if you were to do like a broad jump or something.
Yep. I like it a lot too. I don't have a box to jump on, and that's like one of the only things I don't have in my home gym. Um,
Got a kitchen
like a
table.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know what I've been doing, not using my kitchen table for that.
Just got to make
But
sure you
yeah.
don't stand up,
Yeah.
hit the chandelier.
Yeah.
All right. Last session, long threshold run, total mileage 8.5 miles. Because you said you're doing like 8 to 12 on your long day.
Yeah. Anywhere from 8 to 12, I would say, yeah. This
Yeah.
weekend I did 9.
So I would imagine this is higher intensity than what you normally do there.
Hmm.
Um, so I kept it on the lower end. I honestly like if you unless you had said you're at that mileage, I probably would have bumped this down a bit. Um, Probably just would have trimmed out a little bit of the volume, but because you're already there, I figured we'd start you on the lower end and
Hmm.
just keep the intensity a bit higher. Um, Intensity like still threshold, but like threshold running, accumulating that volume is just different than if it was an easy run.
Yeah.
So basically, the bookends of the session look the same. So 1K at easy pace into 10 sets of a 50-meter run at 3 to 5K pace and a 50-meter recovery jog. And then on the other side of it, it's the opposite. So you got your strides and then into your 1K at easy pace. And then which one serves as like getting more specific, like yeah, you're running at the paces a little bit faster than the paces you're gonna actually hold for Hyrox, obviously.
Hmm.
Um, so you get the benefits of that, and then obviously like it's a little bit extra volume there as well.
Hmm.
So the main work, 2 sets, 4 rounds, 1,000-meter run at 10K pace, 150-meter recovery jog. So you got 4 rounds of that. You'll rest 3 minutes, and you're just gonna repeat it.
Sweet.
So does that look doable?
Yeah, yeah, that looks doable. And I'm looking at it now because it doesn't seem like breaking it up like that. I like it, like the continuous running, but at the different speeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I do those long runs on the weekends, on usually Saturdays, like I'm going at one steady, easy pace.
Right.
And so and I've been doing that for a while now, so it's like I gotta start like playing around with the different speeds and all that. So I like this setup.
Yeah. I mean, this will
Um,
definitely beat up your legs a lot more
yeah,
just because you're
for
running
sure.
at a much higher and just a lot faster pace.
Yeah.
Um, but like you have the fitness and the volume tolerance, so you should be
Hmm.
okay.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I don't think I could do this session.
Why don't you just because of volume?
Unless my recovery runs ended up being like a trot,
Okay.
then I think I could
Yeah.
get through it. But
Yeah.
like, it's just hard to like, I don't know, maybe my 10K is a little slower than I'm wanting to say, but like that first time through, it would be great. The second time
Mhm.
through, I think I would just be like, at a certain point, like my legs just don't want to work, like function correctly anymore, just because of the
Hmm.
volume, like the number of contractions.
Yeah.
And I guess like the big thing is like 10K pace for me is an estimation because I haven't run a 10K in like in any reasonable amount of time that would be like make it relevant.
Yeah.
Um, like I haven't like I've done 10K in a session several times, but like I haven't run like a 10K time trial.
Yeah. I
So
think it'll be, yeah, you're right. That 150-meter recovery jog is going to be very, very slow. Um, I've done, I, it was sometime last year. I remember I went through a phase where I did like 1,000-meter runs into like a recovery jog, something similar to this, or like a 800-meter run into jogs, whatever. And I remember like wanting to walk during those recovery
oh yeah.
sessions.
Yeah.
Like it's just you get so beat up from them, especially like having it be continuous and all that. So that would be an interesting one. I think I'll be similar to you where sometime in like maybe the third set I'm gonna want to walk. I'll be trashed by the fourth one for sure.
Yeah. And I think I really like doing those like recovery jogs.
Hmm.
One because it's a little bit more specific than just like giving people rest time where they just stand around.
Yeah.
Because like for running in particular, it is so like threshold based that if you can recover while moving and just vary your pace, that is so much value in it.
Hmm.
Obviously, for someone who's like doing longer distance running, that's incredibly valuable. But
Hmm.
then even if you're someone who's like a CrossFitter, the odds of you, like having transition time where you can like have, walk to this certain point and then start jogging or like, kind of manipulate your work rest or you've like a turnarounds or like very rarely is it like this nice particular course that you're running on unless it's like a time trial. So like
Yeah.
there's almost always times for you to like run at a slower pace or like walk for a brief moment to like temporarily like manage your work rate.
Hmm.
So it's like great in that way. And then it's obviously great for training because it's like if you feel like you're going to crush it on that day, you can just run the recoveries a little bit faster. And
Yeah.
if you're like dying, you can run that recovery really slow. And like you
Yeah.
still get like the intent of the session either way.
Yeah. Gives you a good feel for those rock zones.
Yeah. Got to get running.
Yeah, for sure. No, that was awesome. That looks fun.
Yeah. Um, if you were going to write it, how would it look different? Obviously, like lay it out in the week and stuff, and some of like the practical things, like maybe you don't have a stairmaster at the same spot that you got like ergs, and that might not work. But
Yeah. I think those will be the biggest things is like more logistics that I would
yeah,
be changing around. Um, I may add like one or two more like easy sessions. So I gave you like a pretty limited like, hey, I'm trying to train like this amount per week, like very limited. So I think you did take it on the safer side. But I would probably add in like one or two sessions of like easy stuff and like easy on the rower, easy on Stairmaster or whatever, somewhere
yeah,
in there. And I may even add them as like optional sessions, like, hey, if time allows, do this in the evening. If it doesn't, then continue on with like the bulk of the training. Um,
yeah. What I'd probably do in that case would be like I'd probably add it in as like because I only gave you like 3 traditional lifts too,
yeah,
and I think you said you normally do 4.
normally
Which
do
like
four.
obviously you get like some station work and like the one day I had some like wall walls in it, but it's still not the lifting that you're talking about. So I
Yeah.
think you could probably do it where it was like you take the stairmaster out of that one session that kind of trims it down a bit,
Hmm.
and maybe you just do like 5 minutes of easy running at the beginning and end, and then you could take the stairmaster and put that as like a floater session where you just put it in wherever it makes sense throughout your
Yeah.
week, and then same thing you could have like another like quick full body lift that is like floater where you just mix it in wherever you feel good and you've got time to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think that's a good way to approach it. And one thing that I would keep that I liked was like the amount of like um harder interval style work that you put in there because I think
Yeah.
it was like enough to get that stimulus, but not enough to like crush me. It's like a good starting point where it's like you can, manipulate it as time goes on, go more or less.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, I mean, we kind of talked about that. I think that's like your big thing for having success for your next Hyrox is like you've been doing a lot of like accumulation, easier work, which is great. But when you actually go to prep for an event, then it's like you want to be more specific with it. In this case, it's just like so much more around like 10K type efforts. So it's just like collecting a lot more of your volume around there, even if it's at the cost of like your total weekly mileage.
Yeah.
Which I think it would be. Like I don't know how many miles you're running, but it's definitely not 30.
Yeah. That'll definitely take a hit, but it's kind of like, like you're saying, trade-off.
Let me look quick. It was 8.5 on that one day. And then 4 sets of 6 minutes. So that's 24 minutes of running. So you get, and then there was
the 45-minute one.
5 minutes at the beginning and like five minutes at the beginning. So 35 minutes. Let's just call that 4 miles.
Yeah.
So now we're at 12.5.
Yeah.
And then it's 60 minutes. Let's say you do 50 minutes. How far are you running in 50 minutes?
If we're keeping it like at a 9.5-minute mile, because it's easy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a 9.5-minute mile pace for 50 minutes. It's like 5-ish.
Let's just call it 5.
Thank you.
So that's 17.5. Okay, we're gonna be
probably so we're not too
20,
far.
and then it's just the station day, which was let's just say you did 5 minutes easy at the beginning end, so that'd be 1 instead of the stair stepper, and then you did, what is it, 3 times 3, it's 900 meters. That'd be 2, so 1,800 meters, and then 4 more. 4 times 3, 12. So that'd be like 3K. So that's another close to 2. Let's just call it 3 for that session.
It's not that far off.
So that'd be like 20.5. So that gets you like right to the bottom of like your weekly volume, which I think would be appropriate based on like the speed of your running in this case. So looking back on it, I'm actually fairly happy with that. I'd probably give you just that floater session, move the sessions around a bit, and then add in like 1 more full body lift.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to approach it.
Glad we got it nailed down. Perfect program.
Heck yeah.
And then your profs are like, okay, we have an extra lab this week. And you're like, well, then it all gets scrapped.
Yeah, then I'm going to just slowly die.
Sweet. Man. That was fun.
Cool. Yeah, that was awesome. I'll test it out. I'll let you know.
Yeah, for sure. You should.
Yeah.
All right, folks. If you got I don't know, a program that you want us to rate for somebody, yourself or a client or something, let us know. We'd be happy to do it. Reach out to one of us on Instagram. We'll get back to you eventually.
Sweet.
Sweet. Cool. Thanks, Dad.
Thanks.